Hello, this is Joe from Nerd in Korea. We are starting, I believe, our fourth video on Budget Merfolk, the counters. Third or fourth. I'm so confused now, but anyway. What are we covering? Again, what this series is about is kind of, at the moment at least, covering the exemplars, which I'm calling exemplars. They're kind of just like creatures that have the really high affinity with one color. So I think for each color, there's kind of a creature that kind of has the main strategies and a high affinity with that color. Black rat, red goblin, green elf. I think that's the most clear one. Blue merfolk and white leonin. Okay. Alright, so what about merfolk? Their main color is blue, as I mentioned. This is going into the kind of their sub-color, which is green. So the secondary color is definitely green, and I think the counter strategy has a lot more of the kind of like green color. But anyway, this is, the fourth video of the Merfolk series. We are looking at Merfolk that put counters on creatures or themselves, or frankly just have high synergy with counters. What do I mean by budget? I mean $2 or less, and I'm using the TCG market value for that. Not a sponsor, not at all. I remember to say it this time. See, tequila fish sticks, I remember. Honorable mentions. See, these are all under 15 cents. So we've got Vorel of Hulklade. He's probably the best one, I think. Double the number of each kind of counter on artifact, creature, or land. So this is like a proliferate, but if you've already got a whole bunch of counters on something, you just double them. Rather than only adding one, you double. So, in the right deck, he can be a lot better than Proliferate, I think. Anyway, Benthic Biomancer Vorel is 1 a green and a blue. Benthic Biomancer is only 1 blue for a 1/1. And he has 1 in blue to adapt 1. So if it has no +1/+1 counters, put a +1/+1 counter on him. And whenever 1 or more counters are put on him, you can draw a card and then discard a card. So again, if you do the adapt or you get a counter on him, you get to draw a card, discard a card, and then proliferate, draw a card, discard a card, draw a card, discard a card. Just sort your hand however you want. And combine Guild Mage. Alright, so this is, again, Simic. This is green-blue for a 2/2. This would be an amazing card if you didn't have to pay for the abilities. Unfortunately, you do. Or even if they didn't tap. But anyway, 1 to green and tap. This turn, each creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. This is a great effect to have in a lot of decks. Alright? Especially Proliferate. I made a Proliferate deck recently, and this is like exactly the kind of card you want for that. And I think what's a little better, move a +1/+1 counter from target creature you control to another target creature you control. So if she comes onto the battlefield after something, she can't be putting +1/+1s on them when they enter, but this lets you just move something over. Once again, for Proliferate, that's great because you're getting that, you're able to just keep. Once you get 1, you can proliferate a whole bunch, right? But you need to get that 1 first. Okay, Singer of Swift Rivers. For our number 5 spot, he has Flash, and when he enters the battlefield, put a shield counter on another target creature you control. That is 1 time indestructible. Okay, so also you may cast Merfolk spells as though they had Flash. That's super useful also, but yeah. The shield counter and Flash, basically if someone's using target removal on your commander or just a high value thing, you cast him. He's only 3. So a 3/2 for 3 is not bad to begin with, but you flash him in and you just save something, right? It's not a counter spell, but it does the same thing against, like, for 1-time removal. And remember, those shield counters, you can proliferate them as well. So you can give something multiple instances of shield, which basically equates to being indestructible. Oh, jeez. Yeah, 11 cents. 11 cents for that one. I almost forgot the price. He has so much going on. Vodalian Wave Knight. Oh, I wanted to put this in a deck, and I was like, oh, it's not Simic. I feel like it should be Simic, but anyway. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on each other Merfolk and or Knight you control. So, oh my gosh, yeah. He is a 2, a white and a blue for a 3/3. Kind of not great there. But, yeah. With Knights or Merfolk, if you're doing either of those, this guy is so good. Can you just draw a card and you're buffing up, like, you can buff up everything if you're doing either, yeah, Merfolk and or Kindred, or Knights, Kindred, then, I love the flexible Kindred cards, that's for sure. Anyway, 27 cents. Zengara Utopian Speaker. Zegana. Okay, I got it. Zegana. Utopian Speaker. There's 2 of her on the list. I really gotta say it right. So she has Adapt 4 for 6. That's very pricey, right? Taking a step back, 2 and Simic. Green-blue. For a 4/4. Not great. And if she has no +1/+1 counters, she can adapt 4, putting 4 counters on her, making her an 8/8. 8/8 is very good. Paying, what would it be altogether? Paying 10 for an 8/8 is not great, right? That's not so good. But when she enters the battlefield, if you have another creature with a +1/+1 counter, draw a card. First of all, it's a card that replaces itself. That's always very useful. Second, creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on it, or each creature you control, has trample. Alright, so all your creatures that have +1/+1 counters have trample also. Very, very useful combination. 10 cents. Merfolk Skydiver. I actually used this in my Azuri budget deck. I almost called it pre-con. Okay, that'd be nice. But anyway, flying for, again, Simic, green-blue for a 1/1 flyer. And when it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. She does put a +1/+1 on a creature. It could be herself or a different creature, so it does give you options there. And then for 3 and Simic, green-blue, again, you're paying 5 to proliferate. 5 is a lot to proliferate, but you can do it whenever you want. You can do it on other people's turns. I really like effects like this because it lets you hold up 5 mana, and people might not be overly suspicious, right? If you have this ability and you have 5 mana open, people will be like, oh, they're going to do that. Not they have that counter spell that I'm scared of. So you can use the counter spells more easily. Also, you don't have to worry as much, right? You can hold up mana for your counter spell and you have something you can pump it into. Again, this is an ability, so you can play it on someone else's turn. On someone else's, the previous player, or the player that goes before you, on their end step, you just pump all your mana into this and proliferate like crazy. Anyway, 11 cents. Prime Speaker Zegana. I think I said it right this time. The downside on this card is very obvious. 6 casting cost, right? 2 green, 2 blue for a 1/1. That's a bad start, right? But, let's see. So she enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, on her or whatever, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So basically, your biggest creature, she's going to be 1 bigger than that. Can really, especially in a +1/+1 counters deck, that's going to be big, right? And when she enters the battlefield, draw cards equal to its power, alright? So if she comes in, she gets, like, say, you've got a 5/5, she gets 5 +1/+1 counters. She's going to be a 6/6, you draw 6 cards also. Very, very, very good. Anyway. +1/+1 counters, plus just a ton of card draw. Oy. Anyway, 24 cents. The downside is severe, but I think still worth it, very worth it. Oh, please hit like and subscribe, it does help. The List. Okay, so Singer of Swift Rivers, 11 cents. Vodalian Wave Knight, 27 cents. Zagana, Utopian Speaker, 10 cents. I said it, I think. Merfolk Skydiver, 11 cents. I think that's the abilities where they don't have to tap. Always very, very good. They cost more, but worth it. Prime Speaker Zagana. Is that 24 cents? I think I said it right. Anyway, so much card draw. You can get your +1/+1 counters to get sorted right away and card draw. Just can synergize with all kinds of stuff. Anyway, take it easy.